everyone, and welcome to tonight's craft. Tonight we're going to be making beaded lanyard keychains. So grab your tea and your kit and let's get crafting. In your kit you should have been provided some beading thread, a little bobbin of beading thread, 3 containers of beads. We have red, black, and white. These are all size 11 seed beads. You should have been provided a size 13 beading needle and your pre-made lanyard that we're going to be working with. What I did not provide you that you will need tonight is a pair of scissors. So you might want to go and grab those. Okay, now to start, some of you may be asking how to make the pre-made lanyard that I am providing you. I'm going to quickly show you how to make these just in case in the future you would like to make some. You can make these as big, as little as you would like. So what I used to make these was parachute cord. And this is what it looks like here. It comes in a bag like this, and it looks like this here. Okay, you can get this at Michael's, most craft stores, and definitely online. What I have here that we're using, I believe is the 2 millimeter, the 2 or the 3 millimeter. When I'm beading necklaces, I like to use the 4 millimeter. It's a little bit bigger. So let's quickly snip some of this. We'll see how much we'll need. We'll just kind of snip a little bit. And you'll also need a key ring for this, so when you're pre-making these, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pop that on to our rope. So we want it on the end there. And what I like to start by doing is quickly just burning the ends of my rope, giving it a squish. And this is just so you don't have a lot of fraying pieces when after you've cut it. So you're going to want to thread your needle. We're going to double it with just a knot at the end, just like that. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your 2 ends of your rope and you're going to place one end on top of the other, just like that. Okay. And you're going to want to hold it. And you don't want a lot, just a little bit. So we're going to go in from the bottom. So the top piece there, I don't know if you can see, but it's at the bottom. We're just going to go through like that. And then we're going to go through the top and the bottom one just to secure it on there. Oops. And we're going to do that just a couple times just to make sure that it's nice and secured. Just like that. Okay. If you have crazy glue, you can also put a little dab of crazy glue on there just to keep them together. I often, I don't like doing that as much just because sometimes you can't get your needle through the crazy glue. Then I turn it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of gently wrap it just a couple times. And then we're going to put the needle through the top, or the bottom, sorry, just to secure those couple wraps that we've done. So now you should have a loop, just like this. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna turn this sideways so that our knot that we just made is at the side, okay? We're gonna pull this to the bottom and we're gonna move it just slightly, just above our key ring. And we're gonna make a little loop there. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that the flat edge of that is squashed up against my rope, just like that. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my thread and needle and I'm gonna go through both. Okay, pull it back through. And then we're gonna go back up, both of them. Oops, see, I hit a little piece of the part that I burnt there. Go back down, like that. We're going to do this just a few times. And And then I just like wrapping just a few times. Now you may find my daughter might have gone a little crazy wrapping when she was helping me pre-making these for you, so I apologize if she wrapped a few extra times, but they'll be nice and secure. So okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through one side. Don't pull all the way through. We're going to go through our loop just like that, and we're going to pull just to make a knot. Okay, just do that maybe once or twice. And once you're knotted off, you can cut off your thread and needle. And ta-da! You have your little lanyard that we're going to bead. Okay, let's see how well I did with my measurement. Oh, a little bit bigger, but that's okay. All right, so now you can do these with full-size lanyards, wristlets. It's completely up to you, but this is how I like to make my lanyards, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Okay, so let's grab one of our lanyards here. I'll grab a small one. You're gonna wanna go ahead and start threading your needle. I like grabbing, I'd say about an arm's length of thread. The more thread you're working with, the less knots you're making, and then the less chances you have of your beads breaking. When they're all on one line, you have better chances of saving your lanyard if one of your beads pops or your thread pops. Okay, so again, we're just going to want to bead or thread our needle. We're doubling it with a knot at the end, just like that. We're going to grab our pre-made lanyard, and what we're going to do is we're going to start, now depending on how you're comfortable, I'm going to start on the left side and I'm going to bead my way to the right. Some people like starting on the right and beading to the left. Completely up to you and how you're comfortable with. But I'm going to start just above the knot or the little attached spot that we have here, okay? So we're just going to go through the back out to the front. Now with your beads, I gave you the primary color of red, so make sure that you were using red for the primary color. What you want to do with the white or the black is completely up to you. You don't even actually have to use these if you don't want to. But I'll show you mine here, well, part of mine. As you see here, I did a little bit of a pattern where I used red as my primary, and then I made a little bit of a white and black pattern. Now, where you choose to use your black and white beads is entirely up to you. You can start your pattern at the beginning. You can start your pattern kind of where I've left it. You can put it dead center if you want, or you can even save it to the very end. You map out how you want to use the three colors as long as your red is your primary color, because that's the most beads you have, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just open my red. And then once we have started our thread, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start getting beads on our needle and thread here. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, well, Melissa, it's going to be a little more difficult wrapping it with this here. And yes, you are right. If we had left this completely open and just a rope, it would be completely easier, 100% easier just to wrap our beads like so around, right? However, what I don't like with my lanyards is seeing the rope. Okay, so if we had left it straight, when it comes down to the keyring part, you would have to either cover the ends with leather in order to have this attached on. So you'd have to cover this part here with leather, or I've seen some people just kind of loop it over like that. And then they sew this part and they bead just to about here, which is completely fine. It's all personal preference. I just prefer to have my lanyard completely beaded. Okay, so this is how I'm going to teach you. But once you get used to doing this, you can customize this to however you feel. So once we've got a good amount of beads on our thread, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start wrapping around our rope here, keeping good tension. You don't want too much tension, because if you push your beads too much, you're going to see that they start to buckle, and you don't want that. You want them to be tight enough that there isn't really big gaps, but you don't want them to be too tight that they buckle too much. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap just like so, and I generally hold my beads as I go, and then I just pull my thread through. Oops, I'm glad I caught that guy. Just like that. Okay. And then when you have them on, you can go ahead and you can start just kind of feeling them. Get used to how much tension you'll need, and you can just kind of push them around with your fingers just to make sure that they're nice and snug against your rope. Okay. Once you have about 3 or 4 rows on, like this here, I'm going to pinch it with my fingers, and then I'm going to just tack it. I'm going to give it a tack. Okay, just like that. We're just going to go straight through our rope to the other side, just like that. And then we're going to come back through just before our last bead there. Okay, we're gonna flip it. So I don't know if you noticed, but I came out just before this last bead. I'm gonna go through that bead and then continue on stringing beads. Okay, and then when I string beads, won't even look like I left that spot. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab some more beads. And again, grab what you're comfortable managing, right? You don't have to overload it, because then that's just more you have to hold on to and make sure that it's tight, right? Okay, and then again, we're gonna wrap, keeping our beads a nice tightness, but not too tight. And you'll get the hang of it. You'll start to see that your beads start to match up as you're wrapping around. They'll start to kind of form lines, I guess. They'll start to have a partner that they sit up against. Now, if you find that you can still see your rope through your solid color, you can buy this rope in different shades. So you can get it in black, you can get them in red. So a lot of times crafters, if they're working primarily with a red bead, they'll match their rope up with a red rope or black rope if they're using black beads. Okay, so again, I feel comfortable kind of pinching here. And then I'm just gonna go through to the other side, giving it a little tack down. And then I'm gonna look and I'm gonna go back through, but I'm gonna come back just before that last bead. Just like that. Okay. Pull it back through, go back in my bead, my last bead, and then come back out. And then complete, and then you keep going. So it's pretty repetitive. Once you get the hang of it, they're really easy to do. So again, we're just gonna grab a good amount of beads. And then I'll show you quickly here. Like I was saying, you'll see that the beads start to line up. Where's my needle here? I start to have almost like a row. See how they're starting to, they have a buddy that they're sitting beside. Just like that. Now from far away, you can't really, I think maybe it's the light too, but you don't really see the red or the white rope through it. I think it's just because I'm really close that it looks like there's a gap, but from far away there isn't. Okay, so we're just gonna grab our beads, make sure that they're nice. And squish beside that last bead again. And we're gonna continue to wrap these beads around. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna switch colors just to show you. So again, we ended, so I'm gonna go through just like that. Tack it down, come back through, just a little too high. And then we're gonna go through that last bead. Okay, so now let's move these ones aside. And let's grab some of these guys just to show you. So when you're swapping out a color, there's no special way to do it. We're just gonna open up our lids here. Ooh. This one's not really tight. These are good little containers. They come in like packs of 6 or 8 or something like that, but I use them often for my traveling stuff. I like to take beadwork to work and working on at lunch, so they're great for my purse. Okay, so we're gonna grab some colors here. And we're just gonna pick up a new color. So I'm gonna do white and then the black in the middle. So again, we're just gonna pick up some colors or some beads here, have our alternate color. Good. And then depending on how many times you want to wrap around with your different color, that's completely up to you. When I'm doing my rope necklaces and I'm swapping out colors, and you'll see often a lot of beaders when doing their rope necklaces, they have a lot of rainbow colored necklaces. And I usually like to do about 50 beads in each color when I'm kind of alternating colors. Okay. Okay, so I have about three rows there. Now, a lot of beaders, some beaders often count how many they put. That's completely up to you. I tend to just eyeball things. Okay, again, just like we did with the red, we're just gonna come out behind that last bead, and then we're just gonna pick up another color. And then for my black, I don't think I'm gonna pick up as much. I'm just gonna pick up a few, maybe to get 1 or 2 rows. just like that. Now, if you can, try when you're changing out to a different color, try to change out either on the inside of your lanyard or on the outside. You don't want it to be, you don't want to change out a color right in the front. So back through, back to the back, and then through that last bead that you did there. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's what we do. We grab beads and we wrap. Okay, so rather than watching me bead all of this, we're gonna pretend that we fast forwarded. So I want you to pause the video about here, and then I'm gonna show you how to bead here. So let's pretend that I just beaded all of this. So let's put this aside. Ta-da, we fast forwarded, we beaded, and we completed from left to right. I started left to right, right? So here, I'm gonna show you here. I made a boo-boo on mine. See, I ended it right in the front. Try and see this side looks great because I started them and ended them either on the front or the back there. No, it's the side, see? On the inside. Try and, if you can, try and end on the side. This was a boo-boo. I should have added another 2 beads here, 2 white beads to end on the outside so that you didn't see that. So that's gonna bug me. Okay, so we've now gone all the way around. Let's get rid of these black and white beads. I'm gonna make a little bit of bead soup over here. This is a no-no in my house. When my kids are bad, I'll make them separate that. That's their punishment. Separate mom's bead soup. Okay, so let's, so this one's kind of mangled. This again was one of my daughters that she helped me with. Okay, so we ended off here. Now you can see that I've got my thread here on this side. We've gone all the way around. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab beads. Let's grab some red beads. I'm off camera with the red ones here. I'll push those ones out too far. Okay, so let's grab some red beads. Now, another tip too, you can see my needle has started to bend. That's okay. If you're new to beading, this is okay. This is just how you hold your needle. All beading needles will end up looking warped like that. I don't think I know any beader that still has straight beading needles, unless you have the small short ones. But if you work with size 13s, then chances are they're all bent like that. Ooh. Okay, so let's grab, okay, so I grabbed a bunch of beads. Let's move those out of the way. Actually, I'm gonna completely grab these out of the way too. I'm just gonna put them on that there. There we go. Let's get those out of the way. Okay, so we're just gonna grab some red, and again, we're just continuing to wrap. Now, if you find, I'm gonna show you something here. Let's see if you guys notice. Okay, so I've gone around a couple times and I look at it and I say, uh-oh, what is going on here? And that's okay. You'll see that, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna then take this off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my beads off. So there's no mistakes with beading. You can always go back as long as you catch it soon enough. Like this, I'm not taking apart to go back and fix that, but that does bother me, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I notice that I've got almost like a triangle here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my thread and I'm gonna try to get to kind of the one side of that. Oops, I'm gonna have it so that my needle comes out right about here, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 1 or 2 there, and I wanna see how that fills just first. So if I start my thread there and I start wrapping, I wanna see if it's gonna fill in there. So I think I need to just move my needle just over a little bit more. So that I come out just a little bit further on the side there, so that when I'm wrapping, it'll fill in this little gap. Okay, so I think I'm in the spot where I want to be. If not, we can go back and we can fill a couple spots. So let's grab some beads here. Oh, I'm off. My beads are off side there again. And there's a little white guy. Sorry, that'll bug me, so I gotta get him out of there. He's not supposed to be in there, so let's put him back in that. Okay. So let's get some beads. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go. Just like that. And we're gonna go around. So you'll see that now, as I'm wrapping, it's kind of filled more of that spot there. So let's get it nice and tight. Like that. We'll get it all nice and tight. I'm gonna keep going until I get to the bottom of this knot here. Like this. Just like that. Ooh. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna keep going. Keep wrapping, trying to keep it nice and tight. Now, I'm gonna hold mine nice and tight here. Nice and tight. And then when you're happy with what you've got there, I'm gonna pull some of my beads. Pull some of my beads to the front here a little bit more. Oops, see, I'm pulling a little too tight. They're buckling. I'm gonna loosen that up a little bit. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, actually I think I'm gonna add a few more. Nope, I'm good, okay. So we've wrapped, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna look to see where my thumb is. I'm going to go through, so it holds that in place, like that. And then I'm gonna come back through. Now because this is being wrapped a little bit more than these beads, like this is a lot thicker, I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna go over a few of my beads here, like this. See, I just kind of went over a row, going between 2 of the beads, back through the other side, back through to the other side, and then pull. Okay, just like that. You won't see those. If you go through your beads or between your beads, you absolutely will not see those. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna go back up and I wanna come out to where my last bead was. Boop. Just like that. There, perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to come out to my last bead and we're gonna continue wrapping. So that, my center there looks a little bit bigger than what I would like it. only because my daughter kind of went a little overboard with the wrapping one. She was helping me wrap. Typically I like mine to be like, this is one that I made, and it's nice. I don't know if you can notice, but it's like, it's flat, nice and flat like that, which makes it easier to bead around. It's pretty much the same thickness as what this rope is. So if you have something that's a little more lumpy, like this one, see when I look, it's not as flat, it's a little lumpier. That's okay. Your middle part there will just end up looking more like a big, almost like a bead, up like a big beaded bead. Okay. So I'm just going to tack down a couple more of these, a couple more of my rows, just like that. Yeah. I'm going to pull that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to come back out behind this last bead right there. Oop. And then we're going to continue on, just like we did, continuing wrapping the rest of the rest of the lanyard. So let's grab some more beads. Okay, and then we're just going to keep going. So now when we get to about here, oh no, let's keep going just a little bit. You will have to start moving this key ring out of the way. It's going to get to be a pain in the butt, but you'll just have to move it from side to side a little bit more as you're beading. So let's get that on, just like that. So we're just going to keep beading just like we did. Now I'm at the point where now I got to start going through my little loop here. And like I said, you're just going to have to keep moving that guy. Sorry, I got caught on my mat here. Okay, so I'm going to start now looping into my loop here. So I'm just going to hold that. I'm going to grab some more beads. Boop, boop, boop. And then keep going. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep going around this little loop, and then we're done. And like I said, once you get the hang of wrapping, these don't take long at all. So I'm just gonna grab my beads, I'm gonna feed it through. Oop. Just like that. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna end there. I'm gonna bring my needle back through. I'm gonna pull my string through and see. Here we go. So just to show you, just like we wrapped the main section there, I'm just gonna hold it nice and tight. And then we're gonna go through, tack it down, come back through, into this last bead here. So I'm going to finish this last little part with you guys here, and hopefully it won't take too long. Okay, so let's grab some more beads. There we go. Got a good amount there. Okay, so like I said before, we're just gonna grab them. Good tension. We're just gonna keep feeding them through. Just like that. Okay, now I've gotten to, I think a point in this last little part where I can move this key ring to this side here. I've got enough beads there that I can keep him on this side now and keep him out of my way. So I've wrapped. I'm gonna kind of just fiddle with these a little bit because I've got a few that I think I'm not too happy with there. So what I do is I just kind of grab them and then I just kind of turn them with my fingers. So I don't know if you noticed, there's one guy here that's not, he's just not matching up there. So I'm just gonna keep, whoop. I'm gonna pull this guy over. There we go. Good, okay, there we go. So I'm gonna keep good tension. Keep wrapping, keep pulling it down so your rows are nice and tight beside each other. And then I'm gonna take a couple beads off here just so I can go through the side versus in the inside of my rope. So I finish about there, I'm gonna go through, and then I'm gonna come back through. So then I'm at the edge of my bead there. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna grab some more beads. Grab some more beads. And let's hope that I can get this wrapped up and finish up for you. Now we've been working on this for about 40 minutes now with a little bit of instruction. So hopefully you guys will soon be able to get the hang of it and you guys will be zooming through this. So they are a little bit of work, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said before, if you just had you know, a straight piece of rope, it's a lot easier to wrap. But then, like I said, you end up having a piece of rope that eventually you end up seeing, because then you have to somehow get your ends tied together. And then this is just kind of the way I've come to hide all of the rope when I'm doing them. Of course, when you're working on them and they're a little bit bigger or regular size, obviously they're easier to manage because your hoops are a lot bigger. So I'm just gonna hold this guy. I think I only have 2 rows there. I'm just gonna grab, I'm gonna grab some more beads. I'm gonna go through, pull my beads through there. There we go. I've got a little bit of a, I just gotta pull my thread there. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep wrapping here. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna get that through. I'm gonna pull them nice and tight towards each other, just like that. Okay, I'm gonna end there. So I'm gonna go through, like that. Whoop. Go through, here we go. Pull it nice and tight, and then I'm gonna go back up in front of that last bead there again. Oop, sorry if I went off camera. Okay, so we're gonna go through our last bead there, and we probably have about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 rows there to finish up. So let's see if we can get this done here quick. So we're gonna get some more beads on. Here we go. Now, if you noticed, I haven't tied off my thread, and that's because I worked with a really long piece of thread. So I probably worked with a 2 arms length worth of thread. If you work with 1 arm's length worth of thread, you probably would have had to have tied off around here. Okay. So we're just going to continue. I'm going to kind of hold this guy out of the way here. Whoop. I might actually use my needle to pass them through on this side. Just like that. Now when using your needle to pass through, be careful you don't go through your rope. See, I'm rushing. And now I just made a boo-boo. So we're just gonna pull it back through. I don't know if you can notice, but I got caught in my rope there. Right there. And I don't want to pull too hard because then it's gonna pull my, I don't want to wreck my thread. I'm gonna snip that there and see if I can't get it back through. There we go. Okay, so we got back through. And we're still wrapping here. I'm gonna feel them, make sure that they're nice and tight against one another, making sure that all my beads are lining up. So if you have to twist your beads a little bit, that's okay. So I'm going to twist them so they line up there. And that's just because I wasn't holding my my beads when I was kind of trying to get it all unraveled there. So they my rows unraveled a little bit. And like I said before, all you got to do is you just got to go around twisting your rows and getting all your beads in place. Okay, so I'm going to continue getting just a few more beads on there because now we're in the home stretch here. We're pretty much done. And that's exciting because I don't have much thread left. And I really don't want to have to knot off and start a whole new line for that little bit of beadwork. Okay. And pass that through. Again, we're holding nice and tight. Sorry, I went off camera there. I needed to lift it up high. So I'm going to hold my rows nice and tight because I don't want them to start unraveling, and then that's when I have to go back and start twisting those rows again. So picking up more beads. My thread's a little frayed. Okay, so I don't know if you can notice, but we are pretty much done. So let's get this last few through. And then I'm gonna pull it nice and tight to the other side just to fill up that one little spot. Oh, I think I might actually put one more bead in there. Oh, did you just see what I did? Here we go. Okay, so now I'm done. So I want to go through the whole middle section there, right to the other side. So I went right over to the other side. Let me move this out of the way so I don't do that again. I'm gonna have to put my caution beads on floor sign out. Okay, so I went through. I'm gonna go back through the whole thing again, right through to the other side. The just like that. Back through again. Not pulling all the way because we want to have our loop there. We're going to go back through our loops. Let's put those loops, that needle through those loops there. Push and pull nice and tight. Okay, let's knot, we just knot it. So now we're going to snip off. You can grab your lighter if you have one nearby and you can kind of burn that off. And you, my friends, are done. And you have now beaded your own little keychain. If you find that you have a few spots, like I see a spot here that's gonna bug me, go ahead and just pop a little guy in there. And there you are, guys. I hope you find this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Nawasa and they can get you in touch with me. My name is Melissa. Again, thanks for crafting with me. I hope you had fun. Until next time, Ona.